Finally back again for another edition of the OC Show. I am your host, Donnie Henderson, and this is the Olympic version of the OC Show. The Olympics are getting ready to ramp up here real quick. Actually, they've already started, and that is the subject for the day, the Olympics. We, well, I love the Olympics. And I'm going to get into a little bit more about what we're going to be talking about today because it's very important in the way the world's going today and relating to the Olympics. So let's get started. First, I need you guys to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I am going to be more consistent. We're going to be on this all the time, way more than we are before. I'm here and there, kind of sparingly on the show, but the commitment to the show is going to be a lot stronger. You're going to see in the next coming weeks. You're going to get sick of seeing my face. Actually, I hope you don't get sick of seeing my face. I am going to be on here talking sports, getting you informed, giving you some really good hot takes about all sorts of things, starting with the Olympics. Football season's coming up. I'm excited about that, but here we are, 2024 Olympics in Paris. Now, some of you, I'm going to get on a soapbox here real quick. I'm going to actually be on several soapboxes today. So this is the first soapbox. Prior to the opening ceremonies, which I'll get into in a little bit, people were saying, oh, I'm not going to watch the Olympics. I don't like what's going on in this country. I'm not going to do it. Blah, 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 blah. Bad attitude, bad attitude, bad attitude. You know what? First and foremost, your choice is your choice. If you don't want to watch something, then don't watch it. Don't enjoy it. If that's not your thing, if sports is not your thing, if the Olympics is not your thing, that's fine. But the one thing that as a child kind of got me into the Olympics was the whole idea of us all, for once, for a couple weeks, we're going to all root for the same people. I'm a sports fan. I love sports. Michigan, for instance. I'm not going to ever root for Ohio State. As a Detroit Pistons fan, I'm not going to root for the Indiana Pacers. A Detroit Lions fan, I'm not going to root for the Chicago Bears. I'm not going to root for other people. But let's use basketball as an example. Detroit Pistons. This is the opportunity for Pistons fans to root for LeBron James. How can you not root for LeBron James? Because now he's on our team, not that team over there. He's on our team. We can all come together. My earliest memories of the Olympics goes back to '84, the '84 Olympics. Mary Lou Retton, the gymnast. '84, I was about 7 years old probably, and so I don't remember watching everything in extent, and so I can't really give you any specific things. But I do remember Mary Lou Retton, and probably because of the marketing that they did after the Olympics and during, and her winning her gold medal in gymnastics. That was my first taste of the Olympics in the '84 Olympics. Then '88 came along, and the Summer Olympics is where I like it. The Winter Olympics are all right, but Summer Olympics is what I'm most interested in, where I have the most passion about. '88 Seoul Olympics. That was my first time watching the opening ceremonies. I don't know if I watched it with both my parents or whatever, but we sat down, we watched the opening ceremonies, and I was just in awe of all of the countries walking in, carrying their flag, and all those athletes in one area competing for their country. And in 1988, as a young man, still a boy at that time, I was like, you know what? How cool would that be to be able to represent your country, to play a sport, to play a game? These young people in 2024 and back in '88 when I watched them, they're representing their country. They're competing against everyone in the world. The whole world, most of the world, come together to compete in sports. It was just the coolest thing to me. So the '88 Olympics is the first time I watched the opening ceremonies. Then now we get to '92. Now '92 is probably the Barcelona Olympics in Spain is the one I remember the most because that's where we had the Dream Team emerge. The Dream Team emerged, and I'm going to show you guys something a little cool here. Props to and rest in peace to one of my dad's best friends, Larry Singleton. He was able to get me something here. regarding to the Dream Team. Let me just show you guys real quick. My Dream Team book. But Mr. Singleton was able to get someone sign it for me. That's one of my sports prize possessions. The 1992 Dream Team. I got the book here that my parents bought me. Got it signed by Charles Barkley. I'll keep this thing forever. I'll never get rid of it. Now, the 1992 Olympics, watching the Americans watching everybody walk in again, the opening ceremonies, but the 1992 Dream Team, watching our basketball team, and it was the opportunity for us to root for everyone. Forget the controversy of certain people being left off the team. That's a subject for another show. That's a subject for another show. And now let me repeat it one more time because maybe I'll have this subject here during the Olympics. That's a subject for another show because Isaiah Thomas should have been on that team. That being said, because I'm still kind of not feeling good about that. 1992 Barcelona Olympics, the eyes that were on that team, the other teams, just so enamored by the greatness of that team. The 1992 USA men's basketball team, and they assembled that team because in '88 apparently they lost. They didn't win the gold medal. They won the bronze, I believe. But they were like, nah, no more of this. Other countries are sending professionals. We're going to send professionals too. I'm getting off on a tangent because I can talk about the 92 Dream Team in another show. But 92 Barcelona Olympics, the most memorable part for me, 1992 Dream Team. Then you go to 96, the Atlanta Games. Just as the Olympics go on, 2000 Sydney, 2004 Greece, and then 2008. I can't remember where they were at, me going on. I love the Summer Olympics. It's 2008 Beijing. Yes, Beijing. But that being said, the Olympics is a time for us to come together, for us to be unified as a country. This country is not perfect by any means. This country is so not perfect. And people say, oh, I'm not going to watch the Olympics. I'm not going to root for USA. I'm not going to root for anyone that has these colors on. Again, this country is not perfect. There are several problems with this country. But for 2 weeks, every 4 years, we can all come together and we can all root on young folks as they compete against other countries. The stories that come out of this, the passion and the dedication that these young people have to do something that they've been training for years and years and years, and for them to be able to compete against other people from other countries and to go on to see if they can win a medal. I think trumps, pardon that pun, but I think it trumps any kind of animosity that you may have towards something that may be going on in the country. For about 2 weeks and a couple days, we can all come together. We can be unified. But still, people don't want to be unified. People choose to be divided, even when it comes to things like the Olympics. We can all come together for 2 weeks. Republicans, Democrats, black, white, whatever. We can come together, but you still choose not to be together. Now, again, our country's not perfect. But for those of you who don't want to watch the Olympics, that's fine. Don't watch it. But don't you dare take away the joy from someone else because they want to root these people on. And the most important thing is these athletes, these young people that are competing, whether it be gymnastics, basketball, equestrian, track and field, whatever it may be, have enough human, I'm trying to search for the correct word because I am very passionate about this. Have enough compassion, have enough just common decency to be able to recognize the abilities of these young people. They've trained for a lot of them most of their life for these moments. And they're not all going to be winners, but they got a moment to be at the Olympics. at the biggest, where all the world is watching. You may not be watching, but the world's watching. People from other countries competing, coming together for the most part for a common goal, for camaraderie through sport. Not all of us are sports fans, but we can be fans of people. We can be fans of their stories and hard work. It isn't an American known for being a hard-working individual. Shouldn't we be appreciative of someone who works hard at whatever it may be, a craft? These young people have worked hard on these sports: gymnastics, track and field, wrestling, boxing, all these different things. Actually, wrestling I don't think is in the Olympics anymore, which is stupid. But whatever it may be, they've worked their nails to the bone, blood, sweat, and tears, sacrifices that have been made for them to be able to compete in front of the whole world. And just because you have a bugaboo about something that has gone on in this country, oh, I could never root for the United States. Well, then you know what? Guess what? Don't root for the United States. I don't like this country. If you don't like this country, you can go ahead and you can raise up. You can go. Again, this country's not perfect. This country's not perfect to me, you, or anybody else. But for 2 weeks, can't we get on board and root these young people on? All of us, American citizens, root the Americans on. And I'm not saying to disparage any other countries. Whatever problems we may have with any other countries that may be in the Olympics, that's squashed for 2 weeks. We're rooting everybody on for 2 weeks. Now, another soapbox I'm gonna jump on. Opening ceremonies. I love the opening ceremonies. I was bummed out because I had to work during the opening ceremonies this year, but maybe it was probably a blessing that I was working because for the little bit I did see on my iPad, I did see that they were coming on in boats. And I was like, at first I was not a real big fan of that, but then I kind of had to think about where it was, Paris, and the way things work in that area of the world. And so it made sense for them to come out on boats and ships. And so that part, that's fine. There were different performances that happened that I just didn't get to see. I just like to see the countries come in. Country, like Estonia, they have 6 athletes, and this person is the flag bearer, and they're competing in badminton. I like seeing the little countries. I like seeing the big countries come in. I like, especially like seeing the United States coming in. Coco Gauff and LeBron James were the flag bearers, and I saw a real cool picture of, and I'll probably put that on the show here once I edit it out. Picture of LeBron James and Coco Gauff holding the flag with all the Americans on a really, really big yacht coming in the rain. Just cool, really cool. That's what the Olympics is all about. I love seeing that kind of stuff because all of those Americans, all those people from all these other countries have worked so hard to get this moment. And I don't want that moment to be soured by people with bad attitudes. I just hate it. If you don't want to see it, if you don't want to be a part of it, don't even comment on it. Don't ruin these kids, these young people's moments, these young men and women's moments. You're not for the Olympics, you're not for this country, you're not for whatever. Don't ruin their moment because they've worked too hard to get to this moment. Just stay away from it, and that's fine. But during the opening ceremony, something really, really controversial happened. There was a remake of The Last Supper, and I'm not going to ever shy away from my faith. I am a born-again Christian, and I'm not going to shy away from that. And so what they did, and I'll post the picture here on the show here, what they did was a mockery of the painting of the Last Supper. It was a mockery of Christianity, just to come right down to it. And as offensive as that is, and as offensive as that image was, I'm not going to let some weirdos in France steal my joy again. Again, going back to these young folks that have worked so hard to get there to play badminton or to run an 800-meter run or to do whatever they're doing. They've worked too hard for some weirdos in France to take me away from that. And I encourage anyone that may be seeing this, is like, oh, I'm not going to watch the Olympics now because of what they did. And what they did was reprehensible and it was offensive. I'm not going to take away from that. I was offended by that whole thing. I'm glad I didn't see it in person. And if I had saw it in person, just to be fair, I'm not sure if I would have caught it, but the attention that's been brought to it is very offensive. I don't know who was responsible for it, but That's not going to steal my joy, and I'm not going to steal an opportunity to admire these young folks' accomplishment in sport. This is a time that you can watch, all sorts of different things. My daughter's into volleyball, so I'll be watching some of the men's and women's volleyball, beach volleyball, regular, on the court volleyball, just things like that. All these different things that we can be watching, and if you let one silly instance of some weirdos in France or decide to do something really crazy and really offensive, very offensive to me, I'm not going to let them steal my joy, and I'm not going to let them ruin a chance for me to see someone that I might not normally see, because it's not NFL, it's not NBA, it's not Major League Baseball. These are sports that you typically don't get to see in the Olympics every 4 years. I'm going to be able to enjoy that. I'm not going to take that away from them. It's not fair to them because of what some weirdos did in France. Again, one of the best times, it's not the best time of the year because it doesn't happen every year, the best time every 4 years, the Olympic Games. They're here. They're right now. I encourage you guys to support the United States, support these teams. Watch gymnastics. Watch these fringe sports that you never get to see because these people have worked so hard. You'll see some great stories. I guarantee you'll be able to look at it and say, you know what? I feel good for that young man. I feel good for that young woman for being able to accomplish what they've accomplished to make it here, to be able to get to Paris. Don't let weirdos take away from your joy. We'll be back very soon. Not going to take that long of a break the next time between shows, but I'll see you guys the next time. Peace.